In this video, guys, I'm going to talk about some of the common traps that we can fall into as traders when we've had a magnificent month, magnificent quarter, or a magnificent year. Stay tuned. Hey traders, warm welcome to you. All right, so you may know, maybe you haven't had one yet, but if you can stick to the path and stick to the process, it will come, and maybe you can look back on this video and go, hopefully you won't fall into this trap. If you've had one already, then you will know. And by one, I mean that you've had a really good month, a really good quarter, or a really good year. And it's actually worse the longer the good, if you like. A month, not so bad. So if you had a really good year, let's say you've blown out all expectations and you've, at the end of that year or whatever point it is, and you've gone, I never thought I would make this much from the markets this year. I've worked hard and it's paid off. Look at my trading account. It is way, way more than I expected, and you feel fantastic. And that is great. It's the best thing we can have as traders. It's the best feeling in the world as a trader, and we want more of it. Now, the trap that many traders will fall into is that the effort it took to get there, to get that, they won't repeat for the next period of time. So let's call it a year, whether it's a quarter, a month, let's just call it a year. And what will happen is you will start to think that actually, I was just in the right conditions. It was the right time. It was this, it was that, the other. You don't realize that it was the effort you put in. It was the time spent running through your process. It was the time spent journaling. It was the time spent staying out of those trades that you shouldn't have been trading. It was the time spent being more aggressive on the right trades. It was all the things that you did right. Now, of course, you made loads of mistakes in that year. You made silly mistakes, but you put the effort in, and it was the process that got you to that significant goal at the end of the year. And the thing is, you then go into the next year and you forget about all that. So maybe you start getting a little bit slack, because now you think, hey, well, I'm a really good trader. I've made a lot of money, and more than likely I'm going to make more than that this year. Very quickly, I'm going to be the 8-figure trader I want to be, or whatever number you're thinking. And so you start to then go into the next year with a little bit of complacency. Now, let's just get this straight, guys. There's a fine line between complacency, cockiness, and what I'm talking about. Obviously, we don't want to be complacent and start doing this, but you're still careful and cautious, but you're not doing the same things. Maybe you're not preparing as much. Maybe you're not journaling as much. Maybe you're not analyzing your trades as much. Maybe you're not being all those things that you know have worked. And before you know it, you're trading the bigger size because, of course, your account has grown and you want to grow it again. The next year you're trading bigger size, but of course the damage, you forget about how you recovered from the drawdowns, because of course that year you would have had some drawdowns that you've recovered from, you've dusted yourself off and you've gone to new highs, and that may have been the difference, actually sidestepping slightly from this year, from many of the earlier years where you struggled. The drawdowns may have been longer and stagnating and more brutal, but you've recovered from those, and so you don't end up having the same mindset. Your trading is still size, you're making mistakes that perhaps you haven't before, you haven't got the same determination to put that great year in, and what happens is you end up maybe drifting for a quarter, and you go, you know, well, that wasn't a very good quarter. Maybe you've been blaming it on the market, and that could be fair. Maybe the market's not quite as fruitful for you, but then you get another quarter and you're like, well, I've done okay, but you know, it's not doing so well, and the danger you've got then is you then go into defense mode, because you go, right, I've made so much money those last year, whatever it is, I need to just be careful now and kind of contract and protect and go small size. Now, there's nothing wrong with defending capital. Don't, you know, let's not confuse that. Those of you guys who have been around the channel a while know that's very, very important. Without capital, we can't trade. So there's nothing wrong with going defense, but very often as traders, we then stay defensive for a longer period of time because we don't go on the attack when we should do. Whereas a previous year, we've played defense and attack at the right times, the right conditions, the right mindset, when we're in the right mode and frame of mind, and it's worked well. You know, we go into the year, and worst case scenario is we don't play defense at all, and we end up just frittering away money. We're going in heavy size because we've got a bigger account, and we end up doing damage, and we feel like, hey, I can give her back some money. I made so much money. money, it doesn't matter if I give some back, and we have the wrong mentality, just like after making a winning few trades, the same kind of thing on a longer time frame. Second worst case scenario is you play so much defense that you don't, you protect that capital so much that you don't put it to work when you have the right conditions. You don't get aggressive when you need to, and you kind of fritter away, or you tread water. Maybe you make a tenth of what you did, or half, or, those are the things that can easily happen to a trader. And then you get stuck in this situation where now you've had another year, a great year, maybe had a medium year, and now, or an average year. Now what do? You can have another average year. You have to get that drive back, the determination. So one of the things is, guys, you've had a great year. Try not to put a definitive ending on it. Try and say, okay, listen, what did I do really well in that year that made me that money? What did I do that really kind of gave me that confidence to press things? What was down to markets? What was down to external things that I can't influence or do anything about? Market conditions were good. This, that, the other. Okay, note those down. Recognize what the market conditions are. You should have that anyway for your trading strategies, when to implement the right strategies in the right environments, etc. But what did you do well? Were you running through your process every day? Were you very good at managing your risk? Were you very good at all those things that we talked about at the beginning of the video? Recognizing those and then making a concerted effort to keep that momentum going. And things like, how did I recover from drawdown? How did I recover from superb days? Or not recover, how did I continue those superb days and not give it back? All those things that we know comes in to the long-term success, recognizing that, and try not to fall into that trap of being too content. Try not to fall into that trap of just relaxing too much, of not being aggressive still, of being super defensive, or being aggressive with just a gun-ho strategy. Try just to focus on the things that work well for you, because whilst you might not have 2 or 3 years of huge growth in a row, even if you do a percentage of what you did, if it was a monster year, you did 80% of it, you're still going to be very pleased. So watch out for that, guys. Watch out for being content. Watch out for taking things for granted, and watch out for not having the fire and the hunger and the process and the work ethic that you had to actually achieve those results from the prior year. Take care, whatever you're doing, guys. Keep the risk managed. Goodbye.